up, people? What's good? Salute, salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. And reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at 6th_element_comic. We do live auctions, live claim sales. I rock with Tooth and Claw, hit animated television series. The Scotty Young joint, blowing up fast. X-23. So this is dope, man. All right, so this is beautiful. What's good, everybody? Played the extra long version. Get some people time to come in. 6th Element Hip Hop, Reno Noir, your host, my co-host Stu Dog and Sada in the building. How y'all doing?
Hello.
What's up?
Doing good.
What's going on?
Man, it is DC Power Hour. Yeah, baby. We're gonna talk about the Batman and all kinds of good stuff. We got. Did you you see the movie yet, Sada? You saw the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about it.
Yeah, she did a very good review over on her channel. Go over there and check it out. Sada's channel. Check out her review of the Batman.
Thanks. It's my name on the screen with 2 underscores. That's my channel name.
Boom.
Yes. SATA __.
With a boom at the end. So SATA _ boom.
Boom.
No. Redact the boom.
Redact the boom. Take the boom out. I mean, what the boom is just there for, it's for aesthetic purposes to make it more exciting, like side underscore. And then when you hit the enter button, it's like boom.
I put that in the intro.
It's like boom. See that?
Yeah, buddy. So I was talking to my son the other day, telling him about, the impact of the DC or the Keaton Batman, the Batman '89 movie. Yeah, I was trying to think of Tim Burton, but yeah, that was such a huge impact. It was like the first big summer blockbuster movie really ever. That was like what started the huge blockbuster craze, and it was huge. Like you saw that logo, that Batman symbol, that yellow circle right there with the bat was everywhere. Every hat, t-shirt, like girls in school were wearing it. Like it was like fluorescent pink with the bat symbol. Like it was everywhere. You could not look left or right without seeing it. And then it kind of died. Like after he's like, well, then what happened? Like kind of died. And I said, yeah, well, this happened.
Oof.
This happened. And the Schumacher Batman's kind of made everybody sort of lose their taste for Batman. And it wasn't until many years later when we finally got the Nolan Batmans that people were like, okay, this is cool again. Like Batman's cool again. Yeah. And but it was like so different from those other cartoony Batmans that and it was so much better that we just loved them. Everything was great. But it wasn't until a couple of weeks ago we finally got, the Batman, and it just blew everyone away, man. It just like changed the game, brought us back to loving Batman and the characters, and Jeffrey Wright killing it as Gordon. Just a crazy, the Riddler, like just mind blowing. And it kind of took us. It definitely brought us back to Batman as fans. Like when I first saw this movie, I said, this is the best Batman movie that I've ever seen. It's my favorite Batman movie, but the Burton movies will always have, that place in my heart as my childhood. But this movie was so much better than anything we had gotten before and since. It's just phenomenal. But some cool stuff, man, that I found to share with you guys. Let me throw this up here. The Batman actor wrapped his head in cling wrap to play the Riddler.
Oh, God.
He warns fans not to do the same if they dress up as the villain cosplay.
Why?
Well, yeah, that was interesting. So Paul Dano's more serious take on the Riddler in the Batman wears a more practical outfit than past versions of the character as he carries out murders in Gotham City. But you may have missed that the character also wraps his face tightly in cling wrap, an idea Dano came up with himself. He said, I thought it would be kind of scary and weird, Dano said in the film production notes. And Matt Reeves loved it. He liked anything that was upsetting or disturbing for the character. And during his appearance on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Dano elaborated on the costume choice, saying he was trying to come up with a way for the character not to leave DNA at a crime scene while carrying out murders. He said he still needs to be able to go out in the day, so I couldn't shave all the hair off my body, Dano said. So I had this idea of like wrapping myself in, I have to call it cling wrap because I think the Saran people don't want any legal association with my Riddler. He said, I wrapped myself in cling wrap, which kind of looks scary with the light. Dano continued, I thought, okay, now I'm not going to shed any hairs here on these crime scenes. However, Dano said he didn't realize that he wouldn't be able to sweat with the cling wrap wound tightly around his face. First day of filming, in about an hour, he said, I just start to see white and colors. Dano said he didn't want to cause a stir on the set. He said, but it's day one, so you don't want to be the actor who's like, I've got a little headache here. You can't sweat. That's the issue. It's like going back inside of you, Dano said, of the difficulties the cling wrap presented. There he is. Unmask the truth. But I remember, I don't know if you guys caught it, but in the movie, there was a part like when he was like Instagramming with his, cohorts.
Mm-hmm.
They said something about don't forget the cling wrap.
Yeah.
You saw that?
And one of the people, they were wearing it too.
Yep.
And I was like, why? I think we should have seen Riddler himself wearing it at some point. And then that could have made it more like it could have made sense a little bit. But
I agree.
I get it now. But yeah.
Right. Well, that's why I wanted to share it because I didn't catch that he was doing that. And then when I saw him talking to his buddies and they said, don't forget, the cling wrap or whatever, I was like, what is that even about? What are they talking about? But yeah. So apparently it was Paul Dano's idea to make his character avoid leaving trace evidence at the scene, fibers, hairs, things like that. But he cautioned any cosplayers or fans deciding to dress up as his iteration of the character shouldn't do what he did. He said, I might as well take this opportunity to offer a disclaimer to any Halloween costumers or cosplay fans out there. Maybe skip the cling wrap. Yeah, because it obviously would be pretty hot and uncomfortable.
Yeah. People are gonna do it though.
They're gonna do it anyway.
Of course.
They're gonna do it.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Like when I went to see The Matrix, they had a bunch of guys there dressed up as Neo, Morpheus, Trinity. It was actually a couple. One guy was dressed up like Neo, and the girl was dressed like Trinity. Like they literally both dressed almost. They had the shades on and everything. We're standing in line, waiting to get in the theater. When I went to see Matrix, they were dressed. Lord of the Rings. I seen people came dressed as elves and
man. At none of the Star Wars movies or anything like that, I never saw anyone dress up.
Never. I've never either. No, I'm lying. I seen one guy. He had on a Jedi robe, and that was it. That's the most I've ever seen.
Well, there's an anime called My Hero Academia that's gaining popularity. I love it. It's hella good. I've been watching it for years since my son put me onto it. Well, I watched it with him, but it's really good. But
it is. I played a game too.
They just hit a movie, and we went to the theater, and there was a couple girls that came dressed up, wigs, the whole costume, the whole nine, dressed up as Deku, the main character. That was the only time I ever saw anybody dress up at a theater.
That's crazy.
But I always thought it would be cool to like wear stormtrooper armor, like stormtrooper outfits to like a Star Wars premiere. But who has one of those things? Those things are expensive.
I think they go for, I think it's like $1,000 for a stormtrooper outfit.
Oh, they're up there. Yeah, I mean, just the helmets are like $350. I know that.
Yeah, you can get them cheaper. You can get them cheaper. But if you want the good quality ones, like there's a website that makes like an official, it's like literally like an official movie quality joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then there's some that make lesser ones, but you can spend some money.
Oh yeah,
spend some money.
Oh yeah, there's a couple guys on Instagram selling custom helmets. They've got like Darth Revan helmets, which I want to get. I'm gonna get me one of them Darth Revan helmets to go with my Sith costume. I got a Sith cosplay that I made from scratch, sewed it together and everything. But the helmet that those are dope. Like they got clone helmets. Anything you've seen in the movie. Yeah, like the TIE fighter pilots look dope.
I've seen those.
You know, the Force Awakens, this one mask from Force Awakens that's like not in any movie or anything, but it's like one of my favorite looking masks in Star Wars. It's from not Force Awakens. I always say that Force Unleashed video game. And he's got those on there, Boba Fett, Mandalorian helmets, all of that shit. And they range about $350. They're about $350.
That makes sense.
And he makes them. Yeah. It's this one guy, one black dude on there. He makes like he's got a whole like factory like in his like little warehouse. He just makes helmets all day. Takes them to conventions and stuff, but they're dope. And they're quality, like they're movie type quality type shit. This was dope. 9 scariest things that happened in the Batman ranked. The director, Matt Reeves, promised a different interpretation of Gotham City in The Batman and certainly delivered on his final product. The story sees Batman chase after the Riddler, who portrayed a vigilante serial killer in this version, and causes mayhem around the city. He brought several moments where he could qualify as a dangerous, scary villain, but he wasn't the only one who brought the horror element. Batman himself and a few other scenes responsible for turning up the fear factor in the movie, and it's worth looking into them since they prove there's a lot of potential for a dark take on DC's comics in this particular universe. So obviously, number 9, Edward Nashton's reveal of his master plan. There are many iconic Riddler comics in the Batman series, but Paul Dano's version might be the most distinct for the way he felt like a horror movie villain. The reveal of this master plan was similarly scary since it placed everything that happened into a frightening context. It turned out that Nashton had planned for Batman to be in Arkham with him, and the rest of Gotham was supposed to be flooded to disastrous lengths. Viewers were meant to be horrified by the realization that Batman was fooled the entire time, and there would be a massive casualties to follow. Number 8, the police's pursuit of Batman. Police department was arguably the most corrupt it's ever been depicted in any Batman media. It was to the point where they wanted to eliminate the Cape Crusader altogether, as seen when Gordon created the distraction for Batman to escape the police force who were out to get him. Extremely rare to see Batman in retreat, who was clearly fearing for his life as he fled from the onslaught of armed men in pursuit. Moreover, the flight sequence that followed showed the scene from Batman's point of view, which made the possibility of him hurtling to his death all too real. I don't know. I wouldn't consider that like a horrific.
Yeah, me either.
Nah,
not at all.
I can't go with that. Nah. Yeah, I can't go with that either. Yeah,
I maybe suspenseful. Maybe
yeah,
a little intense, but
definitely cool.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I can't go with. Yeah, I can't go with scary. Yeah,
no.
But they tried with that explanation. They really did. So
yeah, they really tried to. Well, let's see. Number 7 is Batman's emergence from the fire. Yeah, again,
I mean, if you
scary.
the person that he chasing, yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Well, right.
But if you watching the movie, no, that's not scary.
Right. And calling himself Vengeance summed up Batman's personality in the movie. But definitely, like you said, if you're the Penguin upside down in your car and this dude's walking towards you, because that's the scene here. We're looking at the Penguin's view where he's upside down, trapped in the car. So yeah, for Penguin, definitely a scary.
That's scary. That's a scary.
Yeah, Grim Reaper coming towards him, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, trying to pay the piper.
Yeah. The music and cinematography made Batman's presence look extremely foreboding, as if he had bad intentions for his victim. The scary quality was enhanced by Penguin being to the point of view, Penguin being the point of view character, since Batman was seen from an upside down angle. Number 6, Gil Coulson's arrival at the funeral.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. That's kind of scary.
And it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
Because he got a
It was-
bomb strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
He got the phone. He can go off at any. It's a bunch of people around. You don't
Yeah.
want to be the family. You don't want to be in the front row of that funeral.
Extremely
No.
tense and definitely a little scary.
Yeah,
So.
that's when you.
Yeah.
That's when you be glad you came to the funeral late.
Mhm.
Or didn't go at all.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
just missed it completely. But and this isn't. I don't know. When I guess I thought they were going to be telling more like the stuff that seemed more like horror movie. Like there were some
Yeah.
scenes like that looked like Seven, like when they were in the dark and you
The
could
Riddler.
just see like like their flashlights looking around the Riddler's hideout. Like it reminded me of Seven. Like that was spooky. That was
Maybe though that's like down the list. Maybe. Oh
Right.
please, the debut of the Joker. Come on.
yeah. What are we talking
For
about?
some people, that's scary. So
I mean, yeah, but like all he did
But
was
for
laugh.
us-
Like
Yeah,
I know.
it was what they.
You know what?
I mean,
You know what? The Joker's iconic.
Yeah.
The thing that they've never gotten wrong in any Batman movie is the Joker. I mean, they've gotten other things wrong. They've gotten this. They've done that, but they never gotten the Joker wrong, and people just love it. They love
Yeah.
the different iterations. They
Yeah.
either like it or hate it, but it's always been wildly acceptable.
yeah,
So,
they
like
even
the-
some
like
people,
the-
you know, there's a lot of people who even like Jared Leto's Joker.
I
Stu's
love
one of
Jared
them.
Leto's Joker. Yeah, I like his Jared Leto. I love that Joker. I thought that was
I
great.
was not. I didn't like it at all. Like a lot of people hated that. That was the only time I think that the Joker ever failed. Majority wise, though, I know you like him, but and some people
I
did.
mean,
but
you know what? Because you know what it is. He didn't have a big role in the movie. I think that's what disappointed.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that helped
Like,
too.
Yeah, we didn't get to see a lot of them, and what we did get to see is mostly just trying to save Harley. It wasn't, it wasn't him doing Joker things like, killing people and making
Right.
jokes and.
But
I
even
think
that
that's
was like
why.
so like out of character because he just like the way they characterized him, it was like he was in love with Harley when that's not really the case.
Yeah, he couldn't
So
care less
weird.
about Harley. He
Yeah.
just uses
Well,
her.
that's
She's
not,
in love with him.
that's not necessarily true. In the comics,
In the comics,
he does
don't
like
give
in
a
the
damn
comics he
about her.
does. Wait, he does like Harley, but when it comes to him accomplishing his goal, doesn't give a damn about Harley. Like,
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
he had,
saying.
That's what I
if
mean.
he
He
had to,
doesn't
he
love
had to
her
choose,
by any means, romantically in any
he's
way.
he does, but in his own. All right, look, in his own way, it's like this. There was a
I don't
comic
think
I
he's
read where
capable of love.
a
He's a
comic.
sociopath.
Yeah.
There's a comic I read where him and Harley got into it, and he hit her. And Harley falls down and she starts crying, and he says, "If I didn't hit you, it means I don't care."
Oh,
And so
yeah, that'll
in his
Just being
mind,
an abuser.
Right.
but that's the whole
love.
irony of the situation is that in his mind, as abusive as he is mentally to Harley and things of that nature, that's his way of showing love. That's how he shows love to
Okay.
Harley. Because anybody else, he don't give a damn about. He just
But
don't
I
care.
mean,
It doesn't
I've
say
seen
that-
him completely be expendable with her, like just act
Yeah.
like he didn't care. Like he
That's
was
it.
like, "Oh, you're
And
gonna
that's
die.
how
like,
he
I
shows
know,
for you."
like I
and that's
understand
how he
that's
shows his love.
version of love. I mean,
Right.
yeah,
That's how
but
he
like,
shows his love.
yeah.
Like Bruce, he's the opposite of Batman. Batman's loving, caring. He saves the girl. He does this. Joker's the direct opposite. You can she falling off the bridge. You be like, hey, you better find a way to hang on.
Right. What I
It's
didn't
just
like
yeah,
about
but
Jared Leto's Joker was mainly the look. Was he like had no eyebrows, like weird silver teeth? It just
Yeah, it was
didn't
kinda
look
weird.
like a tattoo on his forehead. Like that was not the Joker. Like I was,
Yeah.
who is this emo punk rock kid?
And I didn't really like the characterization more than anything. I couldn't get
Nah,
into it with Suicide
I
Squad.
thought it
I
was
don't
a
know.
dope. I thought it was a
I can
dope Joker.
respect
I
that.
didn't like
Mhm.
Deadshot because Will Smith didn't
Oh
want to
no.
wear the mask. So thank you, Will Smith, for ruining the movie for us. Thank you for ruining the character. Thank you for just doing what you always do, the most and giving the least. We appreciate you for that, man. Stick to Hancock, because that's what you're good at.
Nice.
All right, number 4, Batman's realization that the Riddler's cult is inspired by him. Again, not scary for us, but maybe for Batman, I guess that realization that
Yeah.
because the Riddler broke it down. He was like, "No, bro, like we did this together." And he's like, "I didn't do nothing with you." He's like,
Yeah,
sent
he
you
thought,
the
yeah.
clue. You did
Yep.
what you were supposed to do, and it helped my plan come together. Like, We did it. It's like what?
But you got to remember too, Reno. That's a young Batman. When we watch Batman
Yeah,
in older iterations, he
more
does. He
seasoned
figures
Batman would
out
have caught
right.
on.
He figures out that these riddles are leading up to me helping him complete his crime. So I have to stop him before before it goes down.
I can see how this is like a little scary from Batman's point of view. I can understand that. I can see that.
Right.
So if you were Batgirl, so Sada, if you were Batgirl and you were solving these riddles, I mean, would there come a point where you'd be like, look, I'm just going back to the Batcave and I'm gonna get me a glass of wine or something. I gotta think about this.
Like, I'll be like, I'll take a 3-hour break. Come back at
it's just a little too much right now.
It's a little too much. Yeah. No thanks.
Let me see who's in the comments. Shout out to Spade, supposed to be in here with us, but he's at a birthday party, man. He couldn't make it. Oh. But they got the Joker wrong one time, I think. See, but now here we go. See, now this is the Spade hated Ledger's joke.
He hated, right. Spade hated Ledger's, right.
So somebody loves Leto's and somebody hates Ledger's. There's somebody for everybody.
Listen, I said it's always a mix, but it's always been successful. It's been a mix, can't stay.
Oh yeah, Leto, get out. No, you don't want to have any spoilers. Get out.
yeah, definitely spoilers, Leto's, man. Sorry about that. I can't believe you haven't seen this movie yet, bro. Waste no time.
Or get your fire stick if you don't. Yeah, get your fire stick if you don't want to go to the movies. Something.
If you want to go to the movies, watch it bootleg. You can. I wouldn't. Go to the movies, man. Go to the movies.
Just remember they charging more. Just remember AMC's charging more.
Don't go to AMC.
Go somewhere else. They charge you a couple of dollars more.
Yeah.
Man. But he might have HBO Max. Leto's way might be waiting for HBO Max to kick in. He might have paid.
Wait.
It may go on
paid. Yeah, because I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I pay for HBO Max, I'm not going to movies. I'm gonna sit right now.
I mean, I paid for HBO Max, but I could imagine now, like, I mean, I guess having a YouTube channel and stuff like that, I couldn't have waited. Till 45 days after everyone's seen it and then start doing shows about it because then it'll be old news. But I seen it on Thursday night, the night before it came out on Friday, like the sneak preview night. So I was seeing this shit early. But yeah, there were several notable quotes by the Riddler in The Batman, which were eventually revealed to be a clue toward his obsession for the Dark Knight. Batman didn't pick up on that until the climax when he reacted with horror to the words by Riddler's goon who claimed he was vengeance. And it placed I didn't.
Yeah, I thought he was talking about when they were in the cell.
When he was talking to him through the glass. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it placed things into a chilling context that Batman and Riddler are essentially two sides of the same coin since they both use brutality for vigilantism. More than that, Batman realized he had cultivated such a fearful reputation that people like Riddler considered fear to be humanity's greatest condition, killing people in Batman's name. Number 3.
They have speaking of Riddler. Before you go on, they've updated the website, the Batman website for the Riddler to solve the riddles. They've added some stuff. I haven't been on there to decipher the riddles or whatever they put up there. It has been updated for all you guys that want to be detectives and go in there and guess the latest riddle.
Yeah.
Knock yourself out.
Good fun. Number 3, Alfred's near fatal explosion. Although this version of Alfred was the first time fans had seen him, the character himself is beloved, part of the Batman universe. For this reason, it was heart-thumping to see the possibility that Alfred could be executed when he opened Riddler's explosive.
I don't know if it was necessarily scary for me, just because when I was watching it, I was like, now why would you open that when it's not addressed to you?
Bro.
Chuck it out, throw it away, push it aside.
I was kind of mad at him for that. I was like, wait a minute, ain't your name on there, bro.
Well, he's the butler. That's what butlers do. You open your mail. Bring it to you open so you don't cut your finger opening the mail.
Yeah.
But I was surprised when they said it was like, oh, it already happened like an hour ago. I was like, oh, it already happened. Oh,
yeah.
And that's another reason why the butler opens your mail. So if it's a bomb or some anthrax in it, he get it and you don't. You know what I mean? So that's why you have a butler. Butlers have very practical reasons for existing. They're supposed
One
to
of
taste
them
your
is
food before you
sacrificing their
do.
lives for you.
Yeah, they're supposed to taste their food before you do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it was an hour later. Matt Reeves' direction was such that the scene highlighted the chance of Alfred's demise as Batman barreled through Gotham City to try and intercept the package, only to learn that Alfred had already been caught in the explosion. The scary element here was delivered by playing to the audience's affection for Alfred and sharing Bruce's fear for his demise. I really thought these were going to be more of how the movie was like a horror film, like scary in that sense. But I guess they're talking about action thrilling moments. I'm not finding any of this horror esque. But number
Yeah,
two,
the reveal.
Yeah, maybe
right,
it's
the
just
reveal
clickbait.
of
Maybe
Edward Matson
it's
as
just
the Riddler.
clickbait. Yeah.
Yeah, clickbait. It sounds very seems
Yeah,
very
this is
clickbaity.
Screen Rant, so I'm not surprised, but like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because none of this is.
Okay.
So the
I will
number
believe
one
that.
scariest thing
That's the only
was the
scary thing.
Riddler's elimination of the mayor. I mean,
If you the mayor, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be
yeah,
scared. Yeah, because I'm gonna die.
yeah.
But
I think how it played
but,
out for me was kind of like it was very tense and it was kind of scary the way it played out for me at
Like
least.
how she went back out there and got shot.
Yeah. Well, oh wait, the mayor. Wait, are we talking about the lady mayor or
Oh,
the male one, the one who
you're
originally?
talking. Oh, that's right. Well, the opening. Okay, so the opening, the Batman and Riddler stalked the mayor of the city right at his residence. So yeah, they're talking about the guy,
Okay,
the
yeah,
first guy.
that one
Yeah,
I thought was scary.
you're
At the
right.
end. Yeah.
Yes, this was definitely. See, now this is what I thought we were going to be talking about because they said the Riddler has also traditionally been a campy villain who isn't considered scary, yet he was shown in a dark getup, capturing a victim and killing him in a savage way. Had the film not been a Batman feature, it could have easily qualified for a scene for horror movies along the lines of Seven or
They
Saw.
read your mind.
They did. I'm telling
that's
you,
true. Yeah, that's true.
Seven all day. And Saw with more of like with the big contraptions, like the
Oh
headgear
yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
That was very much from Saw.
Yeah, they said
But
we're
yeah,
gonna drag it out to the last one. That'll be the
right,
only scary one.
right. Batman's big cameo can be traced right back to David Lynch. Near the end of the Batman, after Riddler has been apprehended and escorted to his own private cell at Arkham Asylum, he finds himself destitute. He has no friends. Batman wasn't even on his wavelength, and the only thing he has time to think about, or all he has is time to think about what he did and what he's going to do about it going forward. One would hope that Gotham City's mental care facilities are better in the Batman than they were in the 2019's Joker.
I don't know
Arkham
why.
Asylum, which takes its name from the fictional Massachusetts city found in H.P. Lovecraft stories, which I did not know, is a notoriously ill-run hospital in the Batman universe, run more like a chateau d'oeuf than an actual hospital. Supervillains are sent there only to cause riots and then break out again. Prison warden Crichton from the 1966 TV series handled supervillains about as well as the administrators of Arkham. But in Arkham, the Riddler hears a cellmate ask a riddle. We only see the cellmate in the silhouette, sun beaming from behind him, and his wild hair and a few details on his smiling face. One day you're on top, he says. The next day you're a clown. Although the character is credited as unseen Arkham prisoner, it's quite clear that this is director Matt Reeves' version of the Joker. The solution to the Joker's mysterious riddle is a friend, implying that that the Riddler will begin an exchange of ideas, feeding on one another's prosperity for supervillainy. One cannot recognize him on screen, but the Joker is played by actor Barry Keoghan from Killing a Sacred Deer and The Eternals. It wouldn't be a superhero film without a teaser for an upcoming sequel. Reeves, in a recent interview, talked about his version of the Joker and how his new version, however briefly glimpsed, was in fact inspired by the 1980 David Lynch film, The Elephant Man. Remember this?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
1980, black and white, Elephant Man was Lynch's second feature as a director and was produced by the legendary comedian Mel Brooks, who offered Lynch funding after being so impressed by Lynch's debut film Eraserhead. The Elephant Man tells a true story of Joseph Merrick, changed to John for the film, who was born with several medical conditions that left his skin coated with tumors, his arm misshapen, and his head oversized. Merrick, played by John Hurt, was displayed in circus sideshows. One Dr. Treves, by Anthony Hopkins, takes pity on Merrick, who is treated cruelly by his owner, Dickinson villain named Bites. Treves finds that Merrick is in fact intelligent and gentle and has an abiding love for the art and theater. The Elephant Man was nominated for 8 Academy Awards, Best Actor, by Ordinary People, Best Picture. When he came to design his own version of the Joker, Matt Reeves was inspired by the Elephant Man. I'm not seeing the connection.
Yeah.
No.
But it said Reeves started his design for the Joker out of the character of Gwynplaine, played by Conrad Veidt in Paul Lenny's 1928 film The Man Who Laughs, based on a novel by Victor Hugo. The Joker from the comics, first seen in 1940, was originally inspired by Gwynplaine, so The Man Who Laughs was merely a logical place to start for any Joker. Gwynplaine has a smile carved into his face. In Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, the Joker's face was the result of exposure to chemicals and botched corrective plastic surgery. In The Dark Knight, we don't really know where his scars came from. Reeves wanted Joker's smile to be something he was born with. He said he's got this congenital disease. He can never stop smiling. And it made Mike, the makeup guy, and I was talking about the Elephant Man because I love David Lynch. And I was like, well, maybe there's something here where it's not something where he fell in a vat of chemicals, or it's not the Nolan thing where he has these scars and we don't know where they came from. What if it's something that he's been touched by from birth that has a congenital disease that refuses to let him stop smiling, and he's had this very dark reaction to it, and he's had to spend his life people looking at him a certain way. He knows he get it. This is the Joker. This is, to me, this is the Joker, the Joaquin Phoenix. Remember, because the Joaquin Phoenix Joker had a disease that made him laugh at inappropriate moments.
Yep.
And stuff like that.
Moments, yeah.
And that's a real disease. There are really people that can't stop hysterically laughing in the wrong, situations. But yeah, this was what actually inspired the original Joker back in the 40s. This guy right here. This is the Man Who Laughs from what was the name of the movie again? It was The Man Who Laughs. Based on a novel by Victor Hugo. But yeah, that's the Joker right there. I mean, if you think about the old pictures of the Joker in the 40s, like that's pretty much exactly what he looked like.
Wow.
Even though the Joker only plays a small role in the Batman, the character is significant positioned as he is the big Batman's longest lasting nemesis. And he was in Batman #1. That was the first appearance. So he was in the first Batman comic. Not his first. Batman's first appearance was in Detective Comics, but when he had his first series, that Batman #1, the Joker was in that first comic. And as such, he had to be sensitive in creating the look of the Joker, even for a brief cameo. It was important to Reeves to make the character stand out among the character's long running history. The idea that the Joker had been born with a Conrad Veidt-like rictus would be indeed a new take on the character. But not so new, because again, this was Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
I support it. I mean, in terms of like, just him being born smiling or whatever.
Right. And look, here they go. But yeah, he said, so this is the idea of him being very incisive and brilliant and being able to get into your mind and basically having this nihilistic point of view that's like from his inception, from his birth. Life's been a cruel joke on him. And in his response, he's eventually going to declare himself as a clown, declare himself as the Joker. That was the idea. In a way, this is the opposite story of The Elephant Man, which is about a man who remained humane and thoughtful even after years of abuse at the hands of his cruel circus ringmaster. This Joker was to be undone by his infirmities. And here you have the next step for the Joker. Although the bulk of the Batman takes a lot of tonal cues, visual elements, and plot points from David Fincher's 1995 film Seven, thank you, Reeves also admitted in the IGN interview that his plan was for the Joker to be far more elaborate and was going to take central notion from The Silence of the Lambs as well. The Batman, there was to be a scene wherein the title hero must go to Arkham Asylum and consult a prisoner, one whom he had in the past, in order to gain insight into the mind of the Riddler, who was still at large. That prisoner was meant to be the Joker, presented like Hannibal Lecter. So there was going to be some scenes in this movie, and they talked about it before, where the Joker was actually in earlier scenes in the movie, not just at the end. And this is sort of what he was going to be doing. It was going to be a really cool, like Hannibal Lecter type of thing. Like he had to go and like talk to this criminal who was going to give him, profiling insight on this criminal he's after, basically Clarice Starling and Silence of the Lambs, which I think would have been pretty dope. But
I think so. But I feel like I'm glad it didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. And it would have been too much.
Yeah.
It would have made the movie a little too long. But Matt Reeves has threatened to put out the full cut. Like he's like put out the whole like 6-hour movie that he originally wanted to make. But Reeves tested the film. Yeah, I'll watch it. But Reeves tested his film without the Joker scenes and realized the Riddler functioned better without them. He said, what you're really seeing is a pre-Joker Joker. And the idea for me why I kept that scene in the movie, even though I cut the first scene that I'm describing, is because it was more important for me at the end. I actually took the scene that's in the movie still out for a brief time, and we tested it and realized that for me, on the one hand, it finishes the Riddler's arc because you know the way the story plays out and you see him in the wake of what's happened and how Batman has been able to thwart what he's doing, basically like on his own without help from the Joker or anyone else. And also I think it helped Riddler be more of a central important villain.
Yeah.
Like let's not take his light and show some Joker stuff kind of thing.
Because that would have definitely happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and he said, indeed, saving the threat of the Joker for the future added texture to earlier scenes. But it was also this idea that at this moment now, the stranglehold of Falcone has been broken. It means there's more. There is a moment of not only hope, but also the moment of the greatest danger in the city in a long time, because it means that everyone is going to grab for power. And when Selina is talking to Batman at the end of the movie, and they're having their very poignant goodbye because they're always going to be on the opposite sides of things, she says to him, this place isn't going to change. And when I took out the Joker scene, the stakes at the end of that scene changed, because that scene shows you that when she says that, you've just seen it and you see how the two of them, Joker and Riddler, are next to each other. And that's just one example of how trouble in Gotham is never going to subside. There's always going to be somebody with a plan afoot. So it was definitely more powerful to just leave that Joker at the end.
Yeah. Because they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I said they're still talking about it. So definitely.
Yeah, right. And it's entirely likely that a sequel to the Batman will be greenlit, as these sorts of things have a tendency to continue indefinitely. So we'll have a chance to catch up with the Joker in the future. What are we talking about? Wait, that's Batman's big cameo. We got Robert Pattinson's gritty iteration of Batman highlights just how bad the Marvel movies are. So I wanted to talk about this because I've been hearing like a lot of people saying like Marvel is behind now. But it's like DC has one good movie
just
and now Marvel's
one movie. And I love DC, but come on. They're still in shambles.
Exactly.
Like, come on.
Yes, they are very much in shambles. As a matter of fact, they have closed one of their major studios out west. And all the artists and everybody, they've been talking about it. Like, this was supposed to be a major move for DC. For them to be closer to Hollywood so they could do better productions, more productions. It's just been shut down for no apparent reason, other than I guess maybe I don't know.
Well, I wanted this guy that wrote this article. I don't know. I don't think he's like a comic book fan in any way. I don't know what. I think maybe he just doesn't really like comic book movies, and then this was so.
Watcher.
Yeah,
not real. You know what, Reno? A lot of people. Listen. A lot of people complain about the Marvel movies. Now, I don't know what they expect. I really don't. But these are the best superhero movies we've gotten in a long time. The Marvel ones, even a lot of the DC ones too. But I don't know what they expect. Like, I don't know how much more they want, or how much more they think they can give. I mean, everybody's gonna have some type of complaint,
Well,
but they're not gonna be
there's
perfect.
always gonna be
Right.
something. Yeah. But this guy
Because
fully
remember,
admits, he says it in the
because
beginning, his first line, he says,
yeah,
"Full disclosure, I'm not a diehard superhero fan at all. My first interaction with the Marvel Cinematic Universe was during the pandemic, when I decided to watch the movies in chronological order to see what all the fuss was about, and I wrote down some of my initial thoughts, including Captain America is boring as fuck, before packing it all in when I got to Attacking Raccoon." So he doesn't even like
Okay, I can kind of agree with the Captain America thing. The first one for me is like so boring.
and I do agree with that. Like, I think Winter Soldier was great, but the first one was not good. But he said he
first
packed
Captain
it all
America,
in
that
when
was good.
he said when he got to talk.
Well,
He said when he got to Guardians of the Galaxy is when he quit. But that's the best one. Like, Guardians of the Galaxy was my favorite of all the MCU movies. But I don't like what they did after that because they all tried to be Guardians of the Galaxy, and then every movie was a comedy, which I feel was a mistake. But and that's kind of where it fizzled
kind of
out.
where we are right now a little bit.
That's where we at. Like with the Batman movies after the Ryan Nolan films, everyone had to be based in reality, dipped in reality, so to speak. I mean, and if it wasn't, it's not considered a Batman movie.
Well, we saw DC
But
try to copy Marvel with their DCEU movies, the Batman vs Superman, like all they're trying to do what Marvel does, when what they should have done is what Matt Reeves did and make their movies like the Batman.
But that just goes back to WB. They are the problem. Like, they're because they keep interfering and not letting their creatives be the creatives. So you keep getting these movies that are just so all over the place tonally. And then we have that huge thing with Justice League because they tried to make it like Marvel. You brought in Joss Whedon for no reason. So stupid. Do you think is this like they're talking about the Batman movie?
No, well, he calls it the
DC.
Yeah, he calls it the
Josh versus.
Like that. Yeah, he said, "Do you think
DC
all
already
this will set up a different, alternate, or new DCEU, or will WB keep it a separate entity?"
Oh, WB will keep Batman.
What you were saying,
entity.
right?
Yeah,
and then
they'll keep it. They'll keep it separate. Yeah.
He said DC isn't in shambles, maybe a little bit. WB is the problem. So that's basically what you're saying. The WB.
I mean, that's a matter of opinion. I think Hollywood's the problem because Hollywood doesn't care about comic books.
But really I mean, even going into that, WB specifically, they just don't know what they're doing, and they don't understand.
That's right.
IP.
No, you're right, son. What we're saying is the same thing, son. We just say it differently because WB is Hollywood. I mean, that's as big as Hollywood as you can get. I mean, Hollywood just doesn't care about comics. I mean, they only care about how much money they can make, how many they can put out, and how much more money they can make on top of that, and get the return on their investment. I mean, if they cared about the comics and the comic lore and all that, they would take their time, they would make a movie, and they wouldn't intervene. They would let it go the way it's supposed to go. But they don't care about the comic books.
No.
They want to always put their spin on it, their twist, their this, their that. What DC and Marvel should have did was combine their forces. They got as much money together as they could, made their own studio, like Tyler Perry. Just get your own studio, and you can put out your own movies. You can do whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about Hollywood. You don't have to follow the Hollywood rules, the Hollywood template. They just don't care about comics. They just don't.
No,
like,
they don't. They care about their bottom line. They care about making money, and they'll add or take out from the comic,
whatever they
from the source material, whatever they feel is going to make them the most money.
Yep, that's just it. Like if you were to say like, all right, like Marvel, when they did Ant-Man is based on the new the Ant-Man now is based on the new comic they put out that Marvel wrote. But Ant-Man writers, the people that wrote Ant-Man, they helped write the script for that first Ant-Man movie, and they bragged about it. But the first Ant-Man movie was really good. But look what happens when they gave them something to write with. You know what I mean? So when it comes to Batman, Batman's always gonna be a different odds because everyone is gonna always put their own spin on Batman, and instead of just following the source material, they're gonna say, "Well, I think Batman should be this," or "I think Batman should be that." You know, instead of just saying, "Let me look up and see what's up with Batman. Let me bring that to the big screen."
Right. What
It's
is
always
Batman
going to be.
supposed to be like, and what is this character supposed to be like, and what is this world supposed to be like, and go to the
Right,
source
right,
material and figure it out instead of
right.
just
Let
trying
me
to
bring
make
the
what you
comic.
think the
Right. Let
masses
me
are
bring
gonna
the
like.
comic to the big screen. Yeah,
Yeah, try to do that,
like
but
Mhm.
Bruce Tim with the cartoons. Bruce Tim literally brings the cartoons to anime. I mean the comics to anime. He literally does it, and it's great. Flashpoint,
yeah,
great. You know what
yeah.
I
The
mean?
DC animated was always great. I think now with the Batman, maybe they'll start to figure out that their properties will do better as in this style versus trying to be a Marvel type movie. But Spade asks, who would you choose to be the Joker in this version of Batman?
Spade can play Joker.
Spade.
Hmm.
Well, out of like the Jokers that we've already had,
I see
it's
Jared Leto.
probably I would say Joaquin Phoenix
Nah.
or even
Nah.
Heath Ledger, but I wouldn't want to use any of the Jokers we've had so far for this movie. For the Batman. Like no Joker that we've had so far, I think would do good in this movie. I think they need to create a new Joker, which they did at the end of the film. That guy that they used, but yeah, they need to come up with their own spin on it, like they did with the Riddler and with everyone else in this movie. You know, this movie borrows heavily from the comics, and also from some of the animated films, like the Long Halloween and the Mask of the Phantasm, or what was it, the Phantom something, from the Batman animated series. So and then but from the comics of like Year One and stuff like that. So it borrowed a lot, but it also put its own spin on so much of it in, I think, a very successful way. Like the Riddler being more like the Hush character than
Right.
the Riddler, like than any Riddler that we've seen so far in the
But
past.
Reno, they can get it off because, like I said, Hollywood doesn't
There's
care about
Hush.
comics. And then most of the people that watch these movies, besides us, don't care about comics either. And Hollywood knows that. So they can sit there and say, well, okay, we're gonna, we'll take from this, we'll put like me, you, and Sada,
Right,
we
that's
know.
what
We
they
read the
did. That's
comics.
what they did.
Right. But the people that 90% of the people that watch these movies, they don't care about comics. WB's always gonna make a Batman movie. They're always gonna put something out there with Batman because Batman comics sell. And they know that. So they know as long as his
That's
comics are
that's
selling,
cool.
I would hate
right,
to
they're
see a
gonna do something
Batman
with it.
movie by the WB.
Right. They're gonna like look at
I
you
would
had the
hate
gay
that, bro.
Superman.
Anything that the WB is I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of any of their shows. None
I
of
like
their
the
shows are
CW
good to me.
shows. I like the CW shows. They're great.
I liked
I don't like
some of
those.
them. I like.
You don't like the
I
CWs?
personally I don't like CWs or the WB or none of those network TV. I just don't like network TV. I never have. I've
Oh,
never
okay.
like the only network TV I really liked was like Breaking Bad, like the ones that sort of tried to follow the HBO show formula and try to be more, you know,
Hmm.
less campy, less sitcom-y. But no, I never liked network TV really. But this guy really is kind of the epitome of what we're talking about. Like he said it's not that I expected to be blown out of the water by a bunch of lycra clad custodians of the peace, but I had hoped they would live up to at least some of the hype. Instead, I was left resentful of the hours-long commitment I'd made to an unfulfilling franchise, talking about Marvel, the MCU. He said, yet one superhero series I can fully get behind is Batman. Not only do the movies have grit, the storylines are fully formed and the characters are complex. This guy is not paying attention to the Marvel movies,
Of
but he's
course, he singles in on Batman and
Yeah.
Batman only. No other DC
Well,
character,
no,
just Batman.
remember what I
it's
said?
just Batman. He
Batman
said
sells.
Yeah.
rather than the half-baked, open-ended tripe of Marvel movies, which always feel like filler, a means to get to the next stage of the story instead of just getting to the point then and there, the Batman films are all solid movies in their own right. They all tie in nicely with each other, but each individual installment is considered and masterfully executed. What is he talking about here?
He
Like,
has a small point with
I
like
don't,
them saying that a lot of the movies feel like they're just setting up the next movie and they're not
right.
its own film within
Yeah.
itself. I can
Right.
understand that, but
Yeah. But he said the Batman films are like there's like all of them were great. Like there's a
yeah,
lot of shitty Batman movies.
yeah.
Well, not a lot, but there's a few. I'd say they're about half and half. Like half were like meh, and then half were good. But he's acting like they're all connected. And he said,
He might
and
be a
while they're
fan. He
he
might be a
said, and
fan,
while they're
Reno.
while
Yeah,
they're
he's probably a fanboy for Batman, you know.
Yeah,
well,
Reno, he might
yeah.
be a fan, bro.
Well, he's saying that he never liked any hero movies until this movie. He's talking about the Robert Pattinson Batman. He said, and while there have been many iterations over the years, Robert Pattinson's Cape Crusader in the Batman is definitely one of the best to date. He has a whole brooding, pursed-lipped vigilante thing down to a T. I mean, the guy did play a tortured vampire who wanted to suck his girlfriend's blood. But he is also stripped of all the fancy gadgets and vehicles so synonymous with the character. Without the Batmobile and the decked out lair, he has an oddly relatable quality. But he did have a Batmobile and a decked out lair. But he
So
said perhaps it is because Batman is human. And yes, before you say, I know Tony Stark, also a mere mortal, he makes mistakes. Like when he parachutes into a bridge and takes a pretty mean tumble, his car stalls, or when he is training himself to take on the emotion of his quest. See, now this is because he's the new year 2 Batman. He's not a seasoned Batman. That's why he fell when he went through the thing and all of that. But I mean, Tony Stark's a raging alcoholic. Like in the comics, like he has, not gonna go there.
His
Like
issues.
many
Yeah.
issues.
yeah, I wish they touched on it a little more in the MCU.
I do too. I really do. I wish
But
I
they
wish the
you know what?
MCU made it more dramatic.
I read an article where they talked about it, and they said that it goes back to the same thing that we always gonna be playing with kids watching it and parents thinking it's for kids. They didn't want to portray Tony Stark as an alcoholic. They thought it was negative. They didn't want to put that much of a negative outlook on him. So that's why they didn't do the alcoholism because of that. They showed him drinking, but they didn't lead on him being an alcoholic. So
Yeah, kind of sucks.
Like in the comics, like there's
It was a
whole
huge thing.
there's whole comics about Tony Stark being an alcoholic, like not being able
that's
to
why
be
we had
Iron
War
Man.
Machine. That's why we got War Machine.
Yeah,
because he
like,
had to be Iron Man while
yeah.
Tony Stark was in the rehab, things of that,
Mhm.
and getting it together. But here's an article on Cosmic Book where they say they say it's also worth mention is that news about the closing DC offices follows us learn that only Batman titles are selling for DC Comics, as
Mhm.
comics such as the Gay Superman, Justice League, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Aquaman are nowhere to be found in the top 50 comics. And then it says here that they go on to talk about how when James Gunn did Peacemaker and when he did Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, he was telling John Cena not to read any Peacemaker comics because it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And to just do your own thing, but we'll stay as close to it as we can, but don't read the comics. That I can understand that point because Peacemaker was different back then, but times were different.
Yeah,
So
well,
I
the
can see him
Peacemaker
trying to
comic was
update it.
nothing like what they were trying to make
No.
this show. Yeah, comics
No.
were
No.
very different.
No.
Very different. Vigilante was I mean, everything about the comics were very different than what they were trying to do with these movies. But it's like, it's not like Star Wars purposely hiring writers that are not fans of Star Wars. It's not that, you know what I mean? Like it was more like, don't watch that because we're going a whole different way. I don't even want you to think about that because it's not that. But did you guys hear about Zoey Kravitz? So this is Lenny Kravitz's daughter, right?
Yes.
She's half Jewish, half black.
Sir.
She addresses clickbait. Dark Knight Rises audition. She auditioned for The Dark Knight Rises, and she took to Instagram stories to clarify her previous comments that The Guardian also being told she was too urban to audition for The Dark Knight Rises. Before being cast as Catwoman in Matt Reeves' The Batman, Kravitz recalled being up against casting discrimination when attempting to audition for a small role in Christopher Nolan's 2012 film, ultimately losing out on the chance part due to the color of her skin. She said, I don't know if it came directly from Chris Nolan, Kravitz said in the Guardian interview. I think it was probably a casting director of some kind or a casting director's assistant. Kravitz, who is of Black and Jewish descent, added, being a woman of color and being an actor and being told at the time that I wasn't able to read because of the color of my skin and the word urban being thrown around like that, that was just really hard about that moment. On March 8th, Kravitz shared a letter via Instagram stories addressing the clickbait bad journalism surrounding the follow-up coverage of her interview. She said, I was not told I was too urban to play Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises. It would have made no sense for me to even be considered for the role at the time, Kravitz wrote. I wanted to audition for a small part in the film and was told, I do not know who said this, but this is how it was worded to me. That they were not going urban on the part. This is something I heard a lot 10 years ago, and it was a very different time. She said, I did not mention this to point any fingers or make anyone seem racist, namely Chris Nolan, the film's producers, or anyone on the casting team, because I truly do not believe anyone meant any harm. I was simply giving an example of what it was like to be a woman of color in this industry at that time. Again, this was many years ago when words like that were thrown around very casually. And although I'm very glad that we are attempting to evolve, let's all calm down as we all fact check before we write things that are untrue.
That seems like she's kind of backpedaling a little bit.
Doesn't it?
That seems like she's backpedaling because what she said is completely different than what her response is now. Like you basically said, they were being racist towards you. So I don't really
well, I think she's backpedaling because now she's in the industry. She doesn't want to be blacklisted. No pun intended. But, she doesn't want to like make other people not want to deal with her. She doesn't want to seem like, angry black woman. She doesn't want to seem like a problem. So she's being very, passive and like you said, backpedaling is the perfect word. But she says it right here. She says, it was said to me they were not going urban on the part, so I couldn't audition. That's fucking discrimination.
Yeah, I mean, like clear as day.
Yeah, bottom line.
Well, she don't want to be. I guess she don't want to be part of the controversy.
Yeah, she like whoa.
So she just did it. Yeah, she did it before it. Yeah, I got my check right. Let me. Y'all messing with my money.
Yeah, exactly. Like this.
We'll talk about that when the check stop.
Right. Just leave that alone. But back to the Marvel DC thing. 5 best Marvel movies and 5 best DC movies according to IMDb.
This will be good.
Oh man, so, well this should be good because we really don't care about IMDb's opinion at all.
But let's see what they say. They say number 10, Marvel Deadpool. I can agree. Great movie. I don't know if it's 10. I don't know where this list goes. I haven't read it yet. But a brilliant and bloody farce on the stereotypical goody two-shoes superhero. Ryan Reynolds nails his role as the wisecracking, foul-mouthed, lovable anti-hero Deadpool. The Mercenaries' dark comedy combines perfectly with Reynolds' natural wit to make the film entertaining through and through, despite the subpar plot of the adventure. Yeah, it wasn't about plot. It was just about Deadpool. Like, let's just have some Deadpool and some Deadpool.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought that film was great.
Absolutely. Breaking barriers by breaking the fourth wall, Deadpool addresses the audience directly and recognizes his true self as a comic book creation. It is a refreshing yet twisted take on today's superhero epic, setting up a sequel and Christmas special so ridiculous it could only be the work of Deadpool. Number 9, DC Wonder Woman 2017. The original Wonder Woman. The second one I hear was not.
Nope, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But people like the first one.
It was really bad.
Yeah, people really like the first one though.
I like the first one up until the third act. Third act on, no, I'm good.
First one was
what
great.
About the third act did you not like?
Because so the second act they were setting up something really nice. It was Chris Pine, his character Steve Trevor. He was saying like there isn't one bad guy. There isn't one source of evil. And if you knock that out, then all the evil is gone. Like, that's not
Right.
how it works. Like,
Right.
it's gray. And they were talking about that. They were setting that up. And I thought, oh, that's a really neat idea to have in a Wonder Woman film. But that didn't happen. Like, she went and fought Ares. It was a typical CGI battle. Killed him.
Yeah.
War was over.
And so it was one guy.
Whatever. Yeah, it just kind of defeated the whole build up for the second act for me.
You're right, but if you think about it, you go back to Ares and the God of War. That's what he does. Like, he brings that out of everybody. So, like, you're right, but in their defense, they should explain that to people. That's what Ares does.
Yeah.
He unleashes that. He makes man want to go to war. Yeah. His presence alone makes you want to go to war and fight.
So he makes many other
right. Right. He makes people. He just enhances what people like. If he's around, everybody's gonna want to fight. Everybody's gonna be hype. Everybody's gonna go to war. So he uses that to cause war. But the more people that do it, and the more people that go to war and fight and have the anger and rage, the stronger he gets. So he wants them to do it so he can feed off of it.
Yeah.
They didn't explain that at all in the Wonder Woman movie. And so it's like Sada said, it's just like useless. Like, you're like, all right, well, so
we got the idea, but then we didn't see it come to fruition.
Yeah, I just didn't like that they set it up as like, we're morally gray, and then no, Wonder Woman was right about everything. She's perfect. It's all good. I just didn't like that.
Yeah,
she is. She's Wonder Woman. She's Wonder Woman,
the goddess.
She's Wonder Woman, the goddess.
Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy, I think belongs way higher on the list. And
I don't know how this list is set up. It's very
I don't know, because Guardians of the Galaxy was so good that every movie after it tried to copy its formula. Even when they shouldn't have. But it was great. It was my favorite one. I expected not to really like it. I didn't think I was gonna really like it. And I ended up loving it. Like, it was so dope. And I love space opera type shit. I love Star Wars-esque spacefaring, like, stuff going on in the galaxy shit kind of stuff. Like, I just love that kind of stuff, that genre. So it was that, plus all the actors killed their roles, the CGI, everything looked amazing. Like, I don't know, it was
like really a lightning in a bottle type situation with this movie. Like, it was just perfect.
It was like a spaghetti. Well, they said locked in interstellar incarceration, a group of galactic criminals fights together to bust out and save the universe in this sci-fi spaghetti western type interstellar adventure. The all-star cast of the galactic intergalactic heroes feature talents like Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and Vin Diesel as Groot. Quickly becoming a fan favorite of the Marvel movies, the film is full of awesome space fights, hilarious one-liners, memorable characters, and classic rock and roll. That was something I think that really made me love this movie. The music was so good. I mean, just everything about this movie. Like, again, I think it should be way higher on the list. But number 7, Batman Begins.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Same here. Same here. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah. I've been comparing the different cowls, the different Batman cowls in the movies. I still like Keaton's the best. But this makes this one kind of look better than it did in the movie, because in the movie his neck was like separate. You know what I mean? Like,
remember he said he couldn't turn his head.
Right. But I guess it's like give and take. Like, you can have it look really cool and not be functional, or you can have it be functional and just not look as cool. But what Pattinson said about this costume, the Batman, the latest one, he said he auditioned in the Val Kilmer Batman suit. Which he said it was very restricting. He couldn't do shit. And he said, when I put on this new one, it was like form fitting. Like, I felt like I was just in regular clothes. Like, I could do whatever I wanted. He was like, this costume was amazing. It was not restrictive at all. Like, I think all the previous Batmans have been. But before the Masked Vigilante's origin story, according to Christopher Nolan. After the murder of his parents, of course, Bruce Wayne becomes the invested criminal underworld, traveling the globe. It was just another Batman origin story. Like I'm glad we
as
didn't have
they all are.
they
Mhm.
all
They all
yeah
are.
exactly.
They
It's
all
like
are.
okay, we get it. His parents died, and that's why he's Batman. What next? Like, don't waste a whole movie about that again. And I'm glad Matt Reeves skipped that. But yeah, this was a great film. It belongs on the list, I think. Marvel Logan definitely
That's
belongs on the
good.
list. This was a great movie.
Damn, they gave it 8.1. I'd have gave it higher.
Yeah.
And you got to
I'll go
watch
with
it in
it.
black and white too. You got to
I know.
watch
Got
the
to.
I gotta get
noir
on
Got
that.
version.
to.
Oh,
You have to.
gotta get on
Yeah.
that.
It's such a. It's such a. It's such a treat.
It sounds like it
Absolutely.
too.
It is, dude. And they even have a its own title. It's called Logan Noir.
Noir,
And
yeah.
yeah. For what came in, this is a 3-disc thing. You've got the movie plus special features, movie plus special features, Blu-ray. Okay, it's a DVD and a Blu-ray, and then the movie in black and white, Logan Noir.
Yeah.
You see, is that showing
It's a
up for you?
treat. Gotta see it. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Speaking of
watch
speaking of special features, Reno,
See that?
I think you talked up what DC always does, man. You just keep talking it up. The DC Multiverse Figures, they've came out with the Batman movie figures, and they've brought out the unmasked versions of Catwoman and Batman.
Golly.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah,
like, why do they make a whole new figure just to take the mask off?
right, because we had
Looks
the
like I'm wearing a
masked
Batman.
versions. Right, we had the masked versions. Yeah, you look like Batman.
Batman.
Right there.
I'm Batman. I'm Batman. I am vengeance. But yeah, this
What
is
do
a
you want?
cool DVD case. This
Oh, that's a
actually,
DVD case. That's dope.
yeah, The Dark Knight.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, got to grab that. That was cool. But yeah, man. Let me get this off. Fucking yeah, they constantly do that. That's one thing that they do, with the figures. Like they'll make a whole nother figure just for a different head. Instead of like Marvel will do, they'll just put 2 heads in the box. Like you have different heads that you can put on the figure. So it'll come with the figure and then like a couple like interchangeable heads. So you can have one with the mask, one without the mask, whatever. But McFarlane will actually make you buy a whole other figure just to get the different head. And I really hate that. Like I won't do
Money.
yeah, exactly. This is a way to get more money, but it's really not cool. It's not cool on us. Switching topics, I want to see DC animated movies about Green Arrow, Black Lightning, and and a new Green Lantern movie. I've seen enough Big Three for a little while.
I agree.
Yeah.
Except for Wonder Woman, because in like the entirety of like the DC animated films, she's only had 2 movies centered around her, which was the Wonder Woman film that came out in like 2008, 2009, and then the newer one that came out, which was Bloodlines. Those are the
Mhm.
only 2, which is like really embarrassing because she's in the Trinity. So I feel like we can get a little more of her. But the rest, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely like, and yeah, we need a new Green Lantern movie
Yeah.
because I guess the first one was just not what it could have been, should have been.
They just have not touched Green Lantern since then. I don't know. Well, outside of like the TV show, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think they got. I don't know. I guess they got scared. Like it wasn't successful in this, so they thought, oh, it's not the character
Yeah.
that wasn't good. It was just aspects of that movie. I enjoyed the movie. Like I was never watching that movie like this sucks. Like I never felt that. And then people would say how bad it sucked, and I was like, well, why did it suck? Like I'm not really sure why everyone hated that movie so bad. But I'm not like a super big DC fan, so I don't
Because
know
you know
what
what?
was
It
wrong with it.
wasn't okay. Green Lantern is a square jawed. Um,
Ryan Reynolds.
he's a square jawed dude. Like Ryan Reynolds portrayed him, and it was more like Deadpool
More like a
playing.
funny kind of
Right,
He
right.
was just
That's not.
born to be Deadpool.
That's
yeah.
right. That's not Hal Jordan. That's more like Kyle Rayner or Guy
Yeah.
Gardner,
Yeah. I
something
would say
like
like
that.
Guy
Yeah,
Gardner.
that would have been better. Right, that would have been better. But they just, I don't know, man. They just had to do a Green Lantern movie, and I guess they wanted a big name. Um,
Yeah.
and they got Ryan Reynolds, and they messed it
Yeah.
up. We barely
Yeah.
got any Green Lantern in the movie.
Yeah.
Uh, he
We were
barely used
supposed
the
to
ring
get
or his
one in the
powers.
theaters, but
Right, yeah. Like, the movie should
Yeah,
have
I'm
took
waiting
place
for a
mostly on
Snyderverse
Oa.
Green Lantern.
Yeah, it should have took place mostly on Oa, and it
yeah,
didn't. It just, I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
they messed
yeah.
up.
It just
Well,
wasn't right.
I would love to see more Green Lantern because great character, and
But you
again, I
gotta
love the
bring
cosmic stuff. I love the space stuff. So there's
right.
definitely a lot
You
of
gotta
that.
be
He's
it.
a
Yeah,
It's gotta
space
be.
cop.
You know what, Reno? It's gotta be like Guardians of the Galaxy. It
it
can't
Guardians.
take
has
That's
place
what I was
on
gonna
to
say.
Earth.
like,
It's got
but
can't take
in
place on
terms
Earth.
of
They
like the
gotta
space exploration, it's gotta be like Guardians in that aspect.
right.
Yeah,
It
And
has
then
I
to
if you're
agree.
be.
gonna do Hal Jordan, it's gotta support the five family values because that's Hal Jordan's character.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He has a commitment. He's a stable character. People respect him. Like the whole Lantern Corps respects Hal Jordan, even though he's from Earth and he was like the first Earthling to be a Green Lantern. And they didn't think people from Earth could make strong constructs because humans are just inherently distracted when it
Right.
comes to things. And in
Mhm.
order to be a strong Green Lantern, your constructs have to be strong. And remember, Kilowog told him that you're only as strong as your constructs.
Yeah.
So if your
So
constructs
you have
aren't
to
that
be
strong,
focused, and your will
yeah, you
has to
have
be
to be
focused.
focused,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Right,
So if
because
you're a
the stronger your will, the stronger the ring.
modern Earth human, you're definitely not focused.
I'm even open to
Right.
like John Stewart coming into play after
Yeah.
or even before they bring in Hal Jordan again. I'm definitely open to John Stewart.
Who was the Black Green Lantern?
That was
John Stewart.
John
John
Stewart.
Stewart.
John Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be
Even he's
probably
more
what they'll
serious.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They'll probably do
Right.
that.
You could
I
do Kyle
can't be on
Rayner.
that.
Yeah.
Kyle Rayner's cool, but the fan favorite is Guy Gardner.
Is he the
He was
gay
the
one?
It's
fan.
so bizarre that Guy Gardner's like the
Nah.
Who's the gay
person.
one?
They might have made him gay now. I don't know,
There's a
but
gay Green Lantern, isn't there?
Oh,
Or
I
that's
have no
Flash. There's a
idea.
gay Flash.
there's a gay Flash. There's
There's
a
a
gay
gay Flash.
Oh,
Superman.
okay.
There's a
So
gay
like the
Superman.
original, like the old school one is like gay. Is that Flash or Green
Flash?
Lantern? Flash? Okay.
Neither. No, they were straight
There's a
arrows.
DC character. It's either Flash or Green Lantern, and there's a gay one. That's definitely for sure. I want to say it's the redheaded Green Lantern guy, but I'm
That
not
would be
sure.
Guy Gardner, but
I can
Guy
check it out.
Gardner's the one.
Yeah.
He's redheaded, and he's also
Spade, are you
what
in
you
here,
call it?
brother? Are you still? Is Spade still in the chat? If you're in the chat, bro, let me know. I know you know which one. There's a gay Green Lantern or
You must mean
Flash.
the Ray. You must mean the Ray. That's the only one I can think of.
Here, let's see.
But I know unless they just recently made Guy Gardner gay. I mean, that's the only one I can think of. He's the only one with red hair.
Alan Scott. Okay, DC.
Oh, okay. So he's the new one.
Yeah, Green
Okay.
Lantern is DC's newest gay character, though it won't be the original Hal Jordan. Instead, it's Alan Scott, who will come out in Earth 2 next week.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, one of its major characters would be reintroduced as gay, and they came through sort of. I don't know.
Well, he don't really count. He's from Earth too.
Yeah, and
He
that's
doesn't
not who
really
I thought
count.
it was either.
Yeah, he doesn't really count. He's from Earth too. So that Green Lantern don't count. Well, I can name pretty much all of them. You got Alan Scott. You got Kate Kane, which is that's Batgirl.
Yeah,
we got the Midnighter. We got Obsidian is gay. We got Pied Piper, Apollo, Bunker. Question. We know everybody knew Question was gay, but Hooded Justice was gay. You know that. The Ray is probably the most famous gay character besides Batgirl because they were overly gay. I mean, and Constantine is a pansexual, so
yeah, yeah,
That makes sense.
He'll have sex with anything.
That makes sense.
But all right, so number 6. All right, so number 5, The Dark Knight Rises. Surprised to see this here, because I heard a lot of people didn't like this. I fucking loved it. I ain't gonna front. I loved it. I loved Bane. I love the iteration. Bane's one of my favorite characters. I like that they made Bane an intelligent leader, a mastermind, a strategist, like he is in the comics, instead of like they do often in the animated movies, where he's like this kind of bumbling goon who's just like a big meathead. Like,
But he kind of was a goon in this movie. Like
he
he
was
ended
the
up
leader
being,
of the clan of the
yeah,
crew.
but he ended up being serving Talia. That was like
Yes.
his whole motivation
Yes,
for
he did.
everything was
Yes,
Yeah,
for
I
because
mean,
of
everything. Yes.
Talia.
yeah, he was
Yes, he
serving.
was her
And then,
flunky. He was
Yeah, so
Talia's
it was
flunky.
like, damn.
That's right.
well,
Thank you.
let's see what they said. They said the final chapter of Christopher Nolan's trilogy finds a broken Bruce Wayne in seclusion, still healing from past injuries, the worst of which is a broken heart. Bane, Tom Hardy, begins a reign of terror in Gotham, but the Dark Knight rises to face his enemy with the help of Officer John Blake. See, and I thought that John Blake dude, I swore that was going to be a Robin, but and the
That might
ever
have been what they were setting up too.
yeah, ever elusive Catwoman. An epic conclusion to the series, Dark Knight Rises features high-intensity action with orchestral sound for a booming Batman experience. Entertaining as it was, some fans couldn't help but notice some major plot holes, like how it took Wayne years to heal a dodgy leg, but just a few weeks to fix his broken spine. All that, all that can be said is that he's the Batman.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
I
but
did like Catwoman. I did like Catwoman a
Catwoman
lot.
was great. But
Yeah.
I'm a big Bane fan, and so I automatically like this, but I even as a Bane fan, he was very different than the comic Bane in many ways, especially his look and all of that and the weird voice that but I thought it was just kind of something about it was just cool. And also I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, so I was like one of the minority that really dug the Bane in this movie. I liked it. I liked the character. I liked the movie itself. But I know I'm in the minority on that.
just put the just put the luchador mask on and give him the Spanish accent.
Oh,
Yeah, I would have loved
please,
that.
please,
I would
General,
have loved
please.
that even
let's go,
more.
man.
I
Let's
would have
Oh,
loved
go.
that. Of course, that would have been way better. Like, give
I don't
him
I
the
know
mean,
what
this
luchador
that was
mask.
about.
listen, this movie Bane wasn't bad, but had he been the main protagonist, it would have been better.
I
Yeah,
mean, they left out the
Yeah.
whole Venom thing. Like, he doesn't have the
Mhm.
drug needing to pump into his body at all times. Like,
I
there was a
wanted,
lot they
I
left
wanted
out that
that.
I wanted, but you know, it is what it is. Number 4, Marvel's Avengers Endgame. Again, surprised to see this one. I always thought it was Infinity War people liked the most, but this had that iconic scene, and you see it here with Cap with the hammer. Like that was one scene where I was like yelling in the theater when
That
Cap
was
picked up
the
that hammer,
most.
and I was like, "Yo, that was amazing." The
uh,
ultimate finale. What'd you say?
I said that was like the most enthralling part of the movie.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I was like, yeah,
that was like that probably was the movie. Like that was
yeah.
the best part of it.
Yeah, because we had so many movies where he tried to lift it and couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
seeing
And
him
so
finally he
actually
got it. Yeah.
wielding it, like, not just lifting
Mhm.
it, but wielding it with the lightning to boot, like, I was like, "Oh, shit, that's just cool." But, yeah, the ultimate finale to Marvel's Infinity Saga, Endgame, became the highest grossing film of all time after dominating theaters around the world. With an unbelievable ensemble of heroes, this 3-hour epic wrapped up in the 22-movie saga in ways no fans could have imagined, especially after the devastating impact of Infinity War. With half of the universe turned to dust, the remaining Avengers, including Captain America, Black Widow, Hulk, and Iron Man, must give it everything they've got to recover the Infinity Gauntlet and restore life across the galaxy. But to defeat Thanos, they're all going to need they're going to need all the superhero help they can get. Avengers Assemble. Yeah, there was a lot of corny moments in that movie, but overall it was pretty dope. Number 3, DC Joker. Great film.
Mm,
Disturbingly realistic and eerily relatable. Joker
mm,
started a new decade with 2 Academy Awards, including Best Actor in a Leading Role by the eccentric Joaquin Phoenix. Following in his footsteps of Heath Ledger was seemingly impossible, but Phoenix seamlessly stepped in and stepped up to the task in this original take on the comic's most notorious villain. Renowned for countless reasons, Joker was most notably shocking for its blatant statement about the side effects of a disturbed world on a disturbed mind. Heavily rooted in mental health awareness, the films reflect society's poor views on mental health, stigma, and the harsh reality it can create if not for a change of heart. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a stigma on mental health, and people with mental illness are not considered in most of society, and that can cause people with some, afflictions who would normally be peaceful people to become murderous, psychopaths, because the way that the world kind of treats them is what kind of this movie, I think, illustrated very well.
So no, in layman's terms, you're just basically saying that a psychotraumatic event that affects a person's psyche we leave them in a world where the rules of right and wrong no longer apply.
I like how I said better. But no, yeah, basically that's basically it. Yeah, Alan Scott, the original is the gay Green Lantern. Yeah, the original. He does count. He was the first before the universes exploded.
But it's from Earth 2. It's from Earth 2.
And it's weird that they call it Earth 2.
We know Earth 1
because,
is the center. We know Earth 1 is the center of the universe.
But it's weird because Earth 2 was the beginning. Earth 2 was actually the original, like the Golden Age DC,
right.
like the Golden Age stuff.
But
they call it Earth 2.
They came out, right, but then in order to, all right, they did it. It was slick the way DC did it. They did Earth 2 and Earth 1 because the heroes didn't age. And people were complaining in the 80s, like, yo, these jokers should be like 80 years old.
Right.
Like, why do they still look like they like 20? So that's how they did it. So once they did that, the anchor was Earth 1 and Earth 2 was the alternate. I mean, it's just what it is. It's what we got.
Yeah.
Like Toys R Us disappearing. So what we got now?
Tragic. Target. So number 2, Infinity War.
Oh, the movie's so good. Love it.
It was, yeah. I'm glad that it is ahead of Endgame. It was better. It was crazy. The heaviest of all the MCU movies, Infinity War was the beginning of the end for Marvel's Infinity Saga, including every Marvel hero or heroine since 2008. It is the most epic crossover event in film history, making it the highest rated Marvel movie for good reason. Infinity War is undoubtedly the most intense superhero film to date, closely followed by its bread and butter Endgame. I think, though, this list is pre the Batman, because I think the Batman would definitely be maybe even number 1, where they've put the Dark Knight as number 1 with the Joker, with the Heath Ledger.
Wow, since I've watched this movie too.
Yeah, it has a near perfect rating for a near perfect film. Yeah, it was great. Christopher Nolan's masterpiece came as the second movie of the 3, and forever immortalized Heath Ledger for his larger-than-life performance as the Joker, earning him the posthumous Academy Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Dark Knight established itself as one of the greatest of all time. In their classic game of cat and mouse, Batman hunts his arch nemesis through the city of Gotham, and Joker fights him physically and mentally, devising twisted schemes to test the morality of Batman, Harvey Dent, and Detective Gordon. And yet, through the dark times, the Joker's warped sense of humor shines through. After all, why so? Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely up there, but I think the Batman would definitely rate a little higher. 10 superhero movies you've probably never seen. Quick scan. Darkman, yeah, we saw that. It was cool. Mystery Men,
saw that.
Yeah.
Rocketeer, saw that.
Yeah, not great. The Heroic Trio, that I've not
saw that.
I didn't see that one yet. Swamp Thing,
favorite movie, classic, saw that.
Yeah, classic and horrible. Just a bad movie, but yes, I loved it back then. It was super scary. No, it's bad. Have you seen it recently? It does not hold up. As a kid, I didn't
watch it. I haven't watched it recently as a kid.
Watch it again, dude. You're gonna laugh your ass off. It's fucking hilarious. I watched it recently. The Phantom, not a fan.
Yeah, not a fan. No. Saw it, but wasn't impressed.
Mordred.
Mordred saw it.
Yeah, Dr. Mordred.
Barf.
I don't know.
Dr. Mordred, barf.
Yeah. Never seen
Zebra Man?
Heard of it. Zebra Man, heard of it, but never saw it.
Oh wow, he's literally, look at him. He's got a horse, like a horse head costume. He's literally dressed like a zebra. Oh my god.
Yeah, heard of it, but never saw it. Just like I never saw the Fantastic Four. Never saw the original Fantastic Four joint.
Yeah.
Oh, this has gotta be Japanese. Zebra Man. It's gotta be Japanese. Let's see. When the hapless third grade teacher and family man Shinichi Ichikawa, yep, that's Japanese, finds himself fed up with his unfaithful wife, loose daughter, and punching bag of a son, he adopts the persona of Zebra Man, a character from a failed 1970s TV series. When he starts developing actual superpowers spurred by his nighttime exploits, he learns that there's more to Zebra Man and the mysterious TV series than he initially thought possible. That is weird. A wacky and playful yarn, Zebra Man is surprisingly family-friendly dark comedy from the iconoclastic and controversial Takashi Miike. Okay. Supergirl. Had a crush on her. I had a crush on her in the 80s when I was like, what was I, like 7? But yeah, probably not a great movie. I don't know.
Bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's bad. Did you know that was? Did you know it was? And one of the reasons why it was so bad was because it was actually supposed to be Superman 4 or something like that. And instead of putting Superman in, they made Supergirl because Superman 3 was so bad.
Yeah. But yeah, she was Legend of Billie Jean.
Which I have that movie on DVD, by the way.
Yeah, that's a classic. Like I love Billie Jean. That was a great movie.
That was a great movie. Yeah, that was.
Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD.
No. I can't go that deep now. I never heard of it. Yeah. And it's number 1.
It's number 1.
I never heard of it.
Probably, I think it's saying that it's the most like you probably haven't seen this one.
No, I never heard. Never
seen
it. Don't want to see. Yeah, don't want to see. Don't want to know. Don't even want.
No interest in it.
Yeah, no interest in it. If I don't know by now, I don't ever want to know. I haven't missed anything.
Exactly. Let's see. Did I? Things the Batman does better than most Marvel movies.
Boy, here we go.
Here we go. The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Robert Pattinson as the Dark Knight, in many ways feels like a breath of fresh air amidst a movie marketplace saturated with superhero movies. It's not easy to say that's not to say it's particularly original. It borrows many elements from various Batman comic runs as well as the Christopher Nolan trilogy, but it stands out in an era where the genre dominated by the Marvel Cinematic Universe and various attempts at imitating the Marvel formula. Like, I think Marvel doing the Eternals and Shang-Chi, which wasn't like very popular, and they just have not been like hitting the spot lately. So when the Batman came out, it's really contrasting against Marvel, making Marvel look bad because Marvel hasn't done a great movie in a while. But when the Multiverse
Shang-Chi was good. Spider-Man was good. Shang-Chi was good.
But see, the Spider-Man, Shang-Chi was good, but it wasn't big. Like, it wasn't widely loved. You didn't have people, making videos about how great it was and all of that. Like, it was just like, oh, this is good.
But you're comparing Shang-Chi to someone like Batman. I mean, Shang-Chi's not as well known as Batman. Batman's huge.
She is right.
I'm comparing Marvel's last few movies not being big like Batman, and that's why people think are feeling like, this is just destroying Marvel, because Marvel has had characters like Shang-Chi and the Eternals, lesser known people, not main characters. But it's like everyone forgot about Spider-Man. Yeah. Like Spider-Man was huge, and like everyone seems to forget.
Yeah, but he's not Batman.
He's not Batman. But the MCU has been wildly successful in a large part because its films generally maintain and sometimes even exceed a solid standard of quality. While the Marvel films are typically good, however, there are many weaknesses that most entries in the franchise share. The Batman is aiming for different goals than practically everything in the MCU so far, but nonetheless, there are multiple grounds of comparison which the Batman far exceeds that the MCU is typically capable of. A truly lived-in setting. A few noteworthy exceptions, such as Wakanda in Black Panther and some of its intergalactic locations, the MCU generally doesn't place a huge emphasis on its settings. This is in part because the MCU is essentially the same as our world, albeit with super beings. This is a fine strategy for making its stories feel real without needing to spend a lot of time on world building, allowing viewers to fill in the blanks based on their own experiences. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy utilized this strategy as well, simply treating Gotham as if it were Chicago, New York, or whatever city, real city the movies were filming in. But it's world building where the Batman excels most of all. Its Gotham is a marvel of production design, as gothic as Tim Burton's version, but with less cartoonishness. And I said that too. I was like, It's kind of what Tim Burton did, but without the like whimsical Tim Burtonness about it. But extensive though,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
his character. Yeah, it's more stiff.
it's dark, but it's
Everybody,
not
yeah, it's dark, but it's stiff. Like, everybody's stiff,
cartoony.
and they're just,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just one way. Everybody's
it
just
was
one way. There's
whimsical.
no,
Like it was
yeah,
fantastical, like fantasy based in a lot of areas.
it's just, yeah,
But
this is
the sense
gothic.
of
Yeah,
place.
it's just gothic.
That doesn't make sense. Like the whole thing of them not focusing on the setting. And I love DC more than Marvel, but it's like the MCU movies also focus on setting. Some of them do. Like
Well, yeah, Guardians and
yeah,
Thor.
and
Yeah,
even the more grounded ones like Winter Soldier and I guess maybe Civil War a little bit. Yeah. But I don't
yeah.
know. It's
But
weird.
they kind of take place in the regular, in modern just the world, like it. And that's the thing. Like Marvel always just used like Spider-Man was in New York, whereas Batman is in Gotham, or Iron Man, they're in New York, whereas Superman's in Metropolis. Like DC always made up their cities, whereas
Okay, I
Marvel
think
just
I get
used
what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah,
I think
Marvel
I get
just
what you're
used
saying.
real world cities. But like you said, they might talk up Captain America the Winter Soldier as a political
Yeah.
thriller, Ant-Man as a heist movie, Eternals as a philosophical drama, and so on. But despite these different flavors, the movies generally end up in the same place as action movies, building toward a CGI-filled third act battle. Even something genuinely distinctive like the Disney Plus series WandaVision has to succumb to the typical Marvel climax in the end. Warner Brothers hyped The Batman as a neo-noir detective film. However, the studio actually gave us what they were selling. There are still the action scenes you expect from a superhero movie, but there are far fewer of them, and most of its contemporaries. The vast majority of the 3-hour runtime is spent investigating crime scenes, interrogating suspects, and struggling to uncover conspiracies. Critics aren't kidding when they've compared to crime thrillers of David Fincher. It has more in common structurally with a film like Seven or Zodiac than with the Avengers or even The Dark Knight, which still operated primarily as an action film, albeit one different from the standard blockbuster mold. But it was almost like the Maltese Falcon, like um Humphrey Bogart detective noir films back in the day. Like the whole movie is like him investigating things and questioning people and checking out crime scenes and stuff like that. Though the Marvel films have their moments of beauty, the studio's insistence on a consistent house style has resulted in a tendency towards bland visuals. Even when the technical skill on display in these movies is impressive, the general aesthetic has been described as washed out and even ugly. I'm not really fine. I'm not really agreeing here. Marvel has had some pretty amazing like visuals in their movies. But this is absolutely not the case with the Batman, which ranks among the most visually stunning blockbusters in recent memory. That I agree with.
It's all a matter of opinion. Marvel
Yeah.
keeps it simple. They keep it simple, and I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to superhero movies, they knocked it out of the park the last 20 years, damn near. So let them keep going. I mean, I can't say anything bad, but everybody's gonna say something bad. And we've interviewed people who will ask them, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't really," but that's just their opinion. If they're not into it, they're just not into it. We like to see this here on this channel. We like to see stuff brought to the big screen, and we like it. And if we don't like it, then we just don't like it. But we don't bomb on every movie. We don't look for every
Right.
little thing. We
Right.
get lost in nostalgia. We
Yeah.
get lost we can pretend for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we can get lost in that cinematic world and enjoy it, man. Just take a break from life. That's what it
Right.
is. And for Spade, let Spade know that yeah, Superman they did make a Superman 4, but the original script for Supergirl was supposed to be Superman 4, and they made it into a Supergirl movie. And that's
Oh.
why
I
there's
read
a
that
big
somewhere.
there's a big gap between Superman 3 and when they made Superman 4 because Superman 3 bombed and it was just dumb. And I'm not gonna lie. Superman 2 is the best Superman 2 is the best Superman movie ever made. And then it comes Man of Steel. Other than that, that's just it. Besides Superman 1. Superman 1
2
and
was
2 were
great.
great.
Yeah.
1 and 2 were great. And then
What's
you
the
had
one
3
with
and you was
Zod?
like 2. That's Superman 2.
Yeah, that's the one I like.
Yeah.
The one with Zod and then obviously Man of Steel.
Where would you rank the one with Brandon Routh? Where would you rank that one? The Return of Superman.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
That's the one with Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
Because that was, you know what, that was a direct sequel.
I think it was another guy. It wasn't Kevin Spacey though. Was it? No.
Well, which one are you talking?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey was left. He was Lex
Oh,
Luthor.
he was. Oh, stop!
He was Lex Luthor.
I remember that. You know what? You're right.
He was Lex Luthor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, that movie, Superman Returns, is actually a direct sequel to Superman 2. So
That's
every Superman movie after that is erased. Sort of like Terminator. This new Terminator movie was a direct sequel to Terminator 2, and all the other Terminator movies don't count. That's how that Superman Returns is direct sequel to Superman 2. All the other Superman movies don't count. And that was the final Superman film in that series with Christopher Reeve, because he kind of looked like Christopher Reeve. And whatnot. That's why he did it. So he did.
And then they had Spacey was Gene Hackman's Lex Luthor.
Yep.
But yeah,
exactly what he's supposed to do.
And then Man of Steel started a new.
Right, Man of Steel started a whole new series.
Yeah.
Which was best Superman movie since.
Look at how different. Look at Look at Christian Bale's mask. See, I always hated how small the mouthpiece was, like the mouth hole. It was like this tiny.
I always liked that.
I like that actually.
Really?
I liked it too. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I liked it.
Hated that.
I thought it was dope. Yeah. I liked it.
It looks really cool.
I did not like it. It was like it went in too far. It just seemed really hokey looking. I don't know. I just didn't. Versus like the comic book Batman, where it's just his whole jaw is exposed. This was just his mouth. I didn't really realize it was that small though. Looking at him compared, like that is a lot. It's a lot smaller than I thought it was. But so this article says, is Batman better than The Dark Knight? Yes. So into that, we don't have to really go into that.
End your discussion.
Yeah,
Sam,
it's better. We don't have to do a big thing. Yeah, it was better.
It was better. We know it was. You know, but they don't. You
this
know,
guy
you can't.
The Batman isn't better than
compare
The Dark Knight overall. But doesn't he?
I don't know. Maybe they're clickbaiting. I don't know. Or maybe that's their opinion. Maybe that's
their opinion. I mean, they have opinions.
It's their opinion because you can't. You know, breaking it down, being honest, you can't compare them. They're all vastly different.
I'm saying. They're just
every Batman movie. They're so different.
Yeah.
You can actually say, I like this version.
Yeah, you know, like that makes more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no comparison between them because they're all different.
Yeah. It's very bizarre.
Even the Adam West. And I love the Adam West.
Yeah,
I don't care how corny they are. I don't care how corny they are. I like
pulling a bomb out. Throw it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't care how corny they are. I love them.
Is there 7? There's 6. No, they're missing. No, Clooney's up there. I guess it's 7. Oh, it's 6 with West. Okay, it's 7 with West. Sorry. But yeah, these are Bruce Wayne's ranked by how well they hide being Batman.
Well,
in the early days,
West did it the best. Adam West did it the best because everybody found out that Batman was Batman except for Adam West is Batman.
Yeah. In the early days of Detective Comics, the costumed heroes that galloped through their pages invented a modern notion of the secret identity. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and the rest would have never been as compelling as if we hadn't seen them attempting to live normal civilian lives. They show him as Batman here, Val Kilmer, Batman Forever. If this was merely the ranking of Batman's performances, then Val Kilmer would be sitting toward the top, no question. Say what you want about his Cape Crusader, but his voice gripes have no effect on me. Unfortunately, for me, for as much as a stoic charm, resourcefulness, and good entrances that Kilmer brings to the in his one and done role, he has one lethal give: his gorgeous, remarkable lips. So you literally can't that's him. If you just see him with the mask, you see the mouth, and it's too iconic. You can't. That's what they kind of mean. Like you can tell who he is, even with the mask.
With the cow. Yeah, that's true.
But Kilmer, he was not.
I like him as Bruce.
Yeah, he was really kind of reserved when he did this movie. Like he really didn't. Like he tried to keep himself very I don't know. He said something in the documentary. He did it. You guys see this documentary called Val?
No, I heard it's really good
It
though.
was good.
Really good.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
I heard it
Yeah,
was really, really
All
good.
it
this
was
like
really
footage
good.
that he took of himself
Yeah,
from his
yeah.
career, and tragic fucking story though. Feel so bad for him. But in it he talks about this role in this movie and like how he it was hard for him to like act against all these like Jim Carrey and like Tommy Lee Jones and like all these extra extroverted type characters um during the big circus scene. Oh, and he literally yells, "I'm Batman" during the big circus scene, which even among the chaos that Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face provokes, the proclamation should have definitely been audible by at least a few people nearby, but whatever. You're telling me that all these people, Nicole Kidman's psychologist, Dr. Chase Meridian, Jim Carrey's Edward Nygma, etc., have met Bruce Wayne, then his half-naked alter ego, and didn't immediately think, "Oh, I've definitely seen those big pillowy lips somewhere before." You would need to be face blind not to pick up on this, or just it's in a Hollywood movie. But yeah,
Yeah.
That's
he
why he only
literally
comes.
That goes
Listen,
for
that's why he
everyone.
only. That's why he
it
only
does.
comes out at night. It's harder to recognize people at night,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
when they got a mask on. I'm telling you
Yeah.
the
He
truth.
should have just wore. He should have just covered his mouth. Seems like
That's
a
why he only
simple fix.
came.
But
That's
here
why
you
he
go,
only
Adam
came
West.
out at night.
There's your boy, Adam West. The Batman movie. Batman the movie. Out of all these actors, Adam West inarguably has the most hours logged playing both Batman and Bruce Wayne, thanks to ABC's television series broadcast 66 to 68. Between the first and second seasons of the 20th Century Fox show, released a companion movie wherein West and his co-star Burt Ward, who played Dick Grayson, aka Robin, have to stop Gotham's four most nefarious criminals, the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, and Catwoman, from destroying the United World Organization's Security Council. And don't forget shark repellent. You got to keep shark repellent on your belt,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, because you never know when a shark's going to grab your
run into a
leg as
shark.
you're being
So smart. So
helicopter lifted. I mean, you never
And don't
know.
forget the bat dance.
Oh, the bat dance. Yes, yes, yes. Ben Affleck's Batman versus Superman. I liked Affleck's Bruce, old man Bruce, but I wasn't crazy about his Batman.
I just didn't like the characterization at all.
Did you
either?
Did you like relate it though to Frank Miller's Batman, like old man Batman?
I mean, yeah, but like even with Bruce Wayne, they made him like an idiot. He just wasn't a detective, and I don't understand how you just didn't incorporate that. But yeah, I mean, some parts of it I did relate to the Frank Miller thing, so I was like, okay,
right, like in Justice League, he would have known Aquaman was Aquaman when he met him, and he would have known the Flash was the Flash. He wouldn't have had to throw the batarang at him to test it and none of that, or he saw Aquaman. He just walk up to him and be like, "Look, I know you," and he would have showed him the evidence that he had to prove it. It was just that's just Batman. Like he would have did his research. Like he would have had him cold, dead to rights. You know, doing something Aquaman.
He left the They left the detectiveness out of him. On Affleck, but if we were assessing sneakiness on the basis of costume alone, Affleck would take the cake. In director Zack Snyder's Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice, and the subsequent Justice League, in either its original or Snyder approved form, Batman looks like anyone could be under that suit, particularly the bulky version he designs for his big confrontation with his Kryptonian rival. The press photos are comical for how much they don't really look like Affleck is under there. But sneakiness is more than an outfit. In Dawn of Justice, Bruce Wayne does a good deal of spying, thieving, and tiptoeing around, but he's not particularly skilled at it.
He's Where? They didn't even show it. Where did he do that?
Remember when he tried to put the filter on the cable line inside of Lex's house, and the girl came down, the lady came down there and caught him. And he was down there, and then he was like, "Oh, I was looking for the bathroom." And she was like, the bathroom's not here. And then he came back and it was gone. And Diana took it. She saw him go down there and do it. So like Batman, Bruce Wayne, even as he would have never got caught doing that. He would have never got caught
Yeah.
putting it in there.
Well, it says he's not particularly skilled at it.
No, he wasn't.
It says
No.
he's almost always getting caught. In one
Oh.
scene with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, swipes some important LexCorp data from right under the nose and then later returns it to him without him even noticing. Affleck remains an underrated Bruce Wayne, but should work on his sleuthing as much as he works on his biceps.
Yeah, please.
George Clooney.
For me, Clooney had the best voice. Like, that's how Batman should sound. Like, I feel like he sounds like Bruce Wayne to me. I really do. Like, his voice, I don't know, because like he voiced this character Splinter Cell in a video game, and he just has like
Sam.
that Sam, that voice. But Clooney's suave spin on Bruce Wayne is not that far off from his take on Danny Ocean, the dashing thief he played in Steven Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 movies. Though the actor likes to now make self-deprecating jokes about his performance in Joel Schumacher's second candy-colored trip into the Batverse, he was actually on only mildly silly and mostly effective Wayne, laughing off questions about a possible engagement in his longtime girlfriend and showing off his new telescope. Yes, he carried around the much derided Bat card, never leave cave without it, and threw a party at the Botanical Garden where he invited his own alter ego and his sidekick as a special guest. But there's a certain reckless genius at work in Clooney's approach to subterfuge. Also, we have to give credit to Clooney's Batman for training Robin in how to use rubber lips to evade Poison Ivy's deadly kiss, one of the sneakier moves in the franchise's history. Yeah, I don't really get that, but I don't know. He was at the mercy of a horrible film. Can't really blame him. Number 3, Pattinson. Best way to hide that you're Bruce Wayne, according to Robert Pattinson Batman, just become a recluse and rarely make an appearance as your true self. Hello. Hello. You run around at night in a costume with half your face showing. Stay out of the fucking spotlight, guy. The Batman is a heavy movie. Matt Reeves is not a film where Bruce goes out to glass and charm young ladies. Nope, the Pat's Bruce Wayne is hardly seen in public. So much so that when he does appear out of costume, it takes a second for people to even recognize who he is. Take, for instance, when he goes to the funeral for Gotham's murdered mayor. Sure, there are some people who immediately peg him, but when he converses with one of the angry residents attending, there's a moment of pause. It's a good strategy because if Pattinson's Bruce was out on the town, he would probably have a hard time keeping his own two selves separate. No one has that incredible jawline but Robert Pattinson. You know, I felt like in this movie he was Batman, whereas in the other movies he's Bruce Wayne being Batman. But like in this movie, even when he's Bruce Wayne, he's still Batman. It's like Batman who he really is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stu, I know you got to roll out and fight crime yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get on the job. We got 2 more is Christian Bale, and then number 1 is my favorite still, probably will always be Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
He was just awesome. He was awesome.
I remember when he was in the Batmobile, Vicky Vale kept trying to get a good look at him. She kept looking like damn, he looks familiar, but I can't make it out. Like, remember she kept looking. He turned the light on her, and he was like, put the light in her eyes. You know, it was. You know.
Have any of you guys seen this new show, Bel Air?
No, but I've heard it's
good. I heard it's good.
Really?
But I heard it's good.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. People are liking it.
I was like, no, don't do that. When
I was kind of apprehensive also. I mean, I haven't watched it yet, but I'm a little more open to watching it now.
It's a little, from what I hear, it's more on the serious side.
Yeah.
Right? The original was a comedy.
Yeah.
But that's Hollywood. If it's a serious movie, they make a comedy out of it and a remake. And if it's a comedy, they make a serious movie out of it and a remake. I'm just not getting it with Hollywood.
Well, it says while the majority of the storylines have been changed, Bel Air very nearly repeated one of the most important scenes from Fresh Prince that would that would have worked in the reboot. Bel-Air's dramatic and serious reimagining of the Fresh Prince isn't much of a stretch, as the groundwork for such important themes as and conversations on Black life in America was already laid in the original series. A few scenes in particular from Fresh Prince did effectively drop the humor for an emotionally poignant, dramatic commentary on society's treatment of Black Americans. And Bel Air episode 7 was close to recreating one of those moments. When Will first arrives in Bel Air, he and Carlton instantly get off on the wrong foot when he sees that Carlton doesn't quite understand how Black men are typically treated outside of Bel Air's privilege. As a wealthy, popular, privileged kid who is one of the only Black men in his Bel Air community, Carlton is fairly oblivious to the reality of stereotypes and racial profiling that Will has known his entire life. It isn't until the end of episode 7 that Bel Air's antagonistic Carlton truly experiences systematic racism firsthand, or at least recognizes it, as he's nearly arrested when the angry Connor sends the cops to stop the party at the bank's mansion. So, yeah, it's definitely getting into more like contemporary, you know, situations, I guess you would say. So I want to check it out. It could be better than I expected it to be. And they said it was they revealed a dark twist to Uncle Phil and Jeffrey's relationship. So in this one, Jeffrey's like a spy or something. It says in the retelling, one of the most interesting aspects of how shady Joffrey has been acting, he's been changed from being the comedic butler and gopher in this 90s sitcom to being Uncle Phil's house manager. However, Jeffrey's cut more of a spy figure, seemingly busy with fancy lifestyle and secret tasks while being able to look out for the bank's kids, especially a curious Ashley. Unfortunately, a dark twist has been revealed regarding Jeffrey and Phil's relationship, and there could be major consequences to come. After Phil and the family came back from wowing locals at the poor in the poor parts of Los Angeles on the campaign trail, Jeffrey pulled him into a meeting indicating they needed to tend to business ASAP. Will didn't read too much into this initially, but when he went upstairs and spoke to his buddy Trey about coming to visit, Trey confessed someone shot and killed a drug lord named Rashad. While Will reconciled clues in his stay since coming over from West Philadelphia and immediately got worried. He began suspecting something was off with Jeffrey and Phil's handling of the situation. He thought Phil took care of things from a legal perspective, but viewers saw a different side of them when Jeffrey was spotted talking to a gangster earlier in Canvas. Jeffrey was pissed Rashad was still threatening to and hunting Will after their basketball court fracas, making it clear he had already paid 10 grand for Rashad to drop the beef. When the man asked about escalating it, Jeffrey more or less hinted to do so, confessing they wouldn't be paying any more money to the thug. Now, while Will didn't know this was taking place, he hasn't been a fan of Phil keeping details of the transfer from Philly from him. The teen's gut instinct always told him something was up, but he denied it, instead getting caught up with pursuing Lisa. However, hearing Rashad was murdered right after Jeffrey rushed Phil off was the biggest red flag. So I guess they're saying that like Jeffrey killed this dude or had him killed. This show might be crazy.
Exactly. They say it's more of on a serious tone than the other one. Like I said, I'll check it out one day and see if it's worth watching. But
yeah,
until then, I'm not in no hurry to see it, man.
No.
I'll let this next. I had my Fresh Prince. I'll let this generation have their Fresh Prince, and we'll agree on that. But with that, I gotta go, you guys. I'll check you out Monday.
All right, brother. I'm gonna show this one more thing, and we'll probably wrap it up anyway. But yeah, China, they often change our posters, like our movie posters, like they did with Star Wars by taking out Finn. Like they'll take Black characters off the posters completely. And because in this one, what they did was where is it? See this? They changed the color of his bat symbol to like gold and sort of edited out, I guess, the fact that it's like a blade or a weapon.
Yeah, it's a survival knife.
Yeah, well, they took away that aspect of it. I guess, something to do with their communism. In a major change between Hollywood Chinese theaters, Warner Brothers' The Batman is scheduled to hit theaters territory screens and has just received a new poster readying audiences for the film. The poster features a curious change of the Dark Knight's costume, in which suggests changes to the film itself, where they're going to actually edit and change it. But the poster, which is circulating online, includes Batman, Catwoman, Penguin, and the Riddler against a fiery Gotham. Batman's insignia, notice there's no Commissioner Gordon, but there is a Catwoman. Which is surprising. But Batman's insignia, which also serves as a Glocka knife, is no longer the black meta feature depicted on screens and is in promotional material elsewhere. The insignia depicted in the Chinese poster removes some of the weapon-like qualities of the insignia and paints it yellow. And the change suggests Batman will be edited to dial back many of its violent scenes and characters. To what extent is currently unknown, but this should come as no surprise for those familiar with Chinese cinema. The Communist Party-ruled government has imposed strict censorship guidelines on film, television, and video games over the last decade. Aside from regulations all but forbidding bloodshed and excessive violence on screen, films cannot present viewers without a strictly negative view of anarchy or criminal behavior. So they literally like take out anything. What's going to be left? Like, if you take out all the violence and all the criminal behavior and all of this out of this movie, like what's left? That movie's gonna blow.
A good Batman movie.
That's
Chinese.
Gonna suck.
Well, you know what? Well, because they do that. Well, over here, when you watch Dragon Ball Z,
Well, that's Japanese though. That's China. Japanese is different.
Well, the Chinese and the
Japanese is a free country. China's a communist country. That's why it's different.
Okay, well, they're both in the Pacific, and here's the one thing that they share in common, even though they're separated by a body of water. They love drama, but they love verbal drama. The action, like Americans, we need the action. We want to see run, kick, punch, all that. We want to see that. They like the banter. They like the back and forth banter, the verbal pat. That's exciting to them. When you watch something from either China, Japan, Asia, it's full of banter. But to bring it over to America, right? To bring it to America, they gotta kind of add action to it. It's gotta be a little less words and a little more action.
But to be clear, China and Japan are very different cultures. Very different cultures.
No, I said that they are. They're just separated by body of water. But there's one thing that they do share is they love verbal. They love verbal pat. They share that. They share that. That's now culturally, but as far as their taste in cinematography, literature, they love verbal pat. It's a turn on for them.
Yeah,
they love it. You bring that over to America, somebody better die, a gun better be involved, something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at like Japan's action movies, they have some of the best action movies in the world, like John Woo and all of that. Like they're amazing at action. And then China too. China, of course, Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee, all those fight movies, all those. But it's the last 10 years.
It's just different. Like it's just different. They do have a lot of verbal
years of China's political communism censorship in the last decade is what has really changed.
It has to, because
experiences
Batman
in their movies and stuff.
Well, you gotta look at it like this. Batman's a vigilante, right? And he's about fighting the oppressed. He's about fighting the oppressed and the suppressed. So they don't want to give any ideas to anybody to overthrow communism. And Batman is idealistic. It'll make you want to say, you know what, we're gonna stand up and overthrow Kim Jong-un. And we're not gonna Batman.
Show like
or the movie V.
The Joker.
Like, we're gonna put on V mask or Joker mask, and we're gonna go overthrow the government. It's just they just want to keep the ideology down. That's all.
Yeah. In North Korea too.
Ooh, I like the background.
I like that Matrix.
But guys, that was this is our show, man. It is what time is it? 8:28. So we'll catch you guys Monday for hip hop and comics. Also, guys, keep looking out for Remedy of Wu-Tang. So he's gonna be on the show soon. And also we're trying to who is it? Somebody else is coming on too. Ed Piscor and Scheme Richards. And hopefully Sada can get her uncle to come on here too.
Ah, that's if I can reach him.
Right? No, just kidding.
And don't forget DJ Blink. We got DJ Blink in the works too.
Right, DJ Blink in the works. So yeah, a lot of exciting stuff coming up, man. So stay tuned. Peace.
Peace.